Welcome to the Mechanical Engineering Special Projects Lab at Minnesota State University Mankato. I'm Patrick Tebby, one of the faculty members in the department, and in this video I'll be showing you some of the labs that are specific just to mechanical engineering, starting with this one. In this lab, our freshman design teams would meet to work on their projects, and some of our electives and senior project teams may meet for their weekly meetings or possibly to prototype parts for their projects. As you can see, we've got a number of smaller 3D printers in this lab. These are what I would call the toy printers. They're the ones that are basically used for our freshman level and some of our prototyping at the higher levels. MSU is unique in that it also has a manufacturing engineering technology program. That program has a specialty in manufacturing, and they maintain several labs with specialty manufacturing equipment that we borrow and use. One of those labs is an advanced prototyping lab that has larger 3D printers as well as a metal 3D printer. So our students can start with our printers, prototype, work out the bugs, and then they'll have access to those facilities to do the higher end printing. Okay, now I'm going to go around and show you some of the other labs that are specific to mechanical engineering here.
We'll start our tour in Nelson Hall, Room 101, the Engineering Projects Lab. This lab is maintained by Automotive and Engineering Technology. This is actually a good time to see the lab. Safety is a critical importance here, and usually there are so many projects going on that we can't take tours through the lab. The lab itself has over 5,800 square feet of space. It contains 6 separate areas for computerized metalworking, sheet metal, metal cutting, fabrication, welding, and also automotive component analysis. The lab is staffed by the AMET department. A lab supervisor is on staff. He has a number of trained student assistants. Mechanical engineering is able to use these facilities, and we rely on the specialized knowledge of the AMET department for this. There are a number of wood and metalworking hand tools, presses, vices, and workbenches available for projects and senior project assemblies. Mechanical engineering students will also gain experience with computer numerically controlled equipment here. The lab has a CNC plasma cutting table, as well as 2 Haas CNC milling and turning centers. The Automotive Engineering Technology program also sponsors an SAE Baja competition, where they build a car every year. Mechanical engineers can participate in this project, and here in the lab you'll see a frame being constructed for this year's car. Mechanical engineering students will also learn about welding in the manufacturing lab here. They'll have the opportunity to work with metal inert gas and tungsten inert gas welders. The AMT department and mechanical and civil engineering work closely together. In fact, for those mechanical students who choose to do a minor, the most often selected one is the minor in manufacturing engineering technology. Now that we've seen this lab, let's head back over to Trafton East and look at some of the other mechanical engineering labs. Back in the Trafton East building, first floor, we'll start in room TE 104, the wind tunnel lab. This would be considered a low-speed wind tunnel. It can reach a speed up to 150 feet per second. It has a 1-foot square cross-section and an extended testing area. In our classes, students may test an airfoil like is mounted currently, looking for different things like stall condition. They could mount general shapes to see if the theory from fluid mechanics holds true, or they could be looking at different objects such as automobiles or airplanes. The room also contains other miscellaneous items for testing, as well as a small demonstration wind tunnel. Besides classroom projects, the wind tunnel can be used for student projects or research, such as studying vertical axis wind turbines. To save space, you'll see that we have a number of microscopes also housed in this room. These are for our material science classes. The interesting things about these are they each have mountings on them for a digital camera. Each one of those mountings was designed in our Design for Manufacturing and Assembly senior elective by students who then 3D printed their different designs. We'll head down the hall now to look at one of our materials testing and processing labs. Right across the hall is the Trafton East 120 lab, our prototyping lab. While we have access to the Engineering Projects Lab, it's nice to have some facilities of our own for student instruction and for prototyping. When projects reach the point of needing the larger equipment, they can of course go over to Nelson Hall and use the equipment there. In this lab, we have basic grinding and cutting equipment, as well as our own mill and lathe. We also have a small CNC training device. This lab is located next to our lab technician's office and his electrical engineering equipment. Currently housed in this lab is also our new coordinate measuring machine purchased last summer. This is used in our geometric dimensioning and tolerancing, or GD&T class. GD&T is an important skill for our students, now required on the Fundamentals of Engineering exam. Now let's head down the hall and see another lab. Just down the hall is the Trafton East 109 lab. This is our composites lab. This is a small lab devoted to processes that involve chemical safety. We have basic equipment in here for certain material processing techniques. You'll also notice that our Markforged 3D printer is here. This printer prints in carbon fiber, which involves extra safety issues. Various equipment is also housed here for materials testing. This is one of several labs in the department that also houses a fume hood. Now that we've seen this lab, we're going to go upstairs to the second floor and see the ME resource room. Trafton East 214 is our mechanical engineering resource room. This room is essentially a study space for students. Student organizations can meet here. The room is also open throughout the day for students to work on projects, homework, or just have a snack. The room is maintained by our student chapter of the American Society of Mechanical Engineers, ASME. Let's head down the hall to see the last of our labs on this tour.
That's the high points of our mechanical engineering specific labs. The labs we didn't get a chance to look at would be the vibrations and controls labs, which are actually being updated with new equipment this summer. We're ending here on the Trafton second floor again. This is the mechanisms lab. This is also home to some of our higher end computers where the seniors will be using industry software for their senior projects and technical elective courses. I hope you've enjoyed this quick tour. As always, if you have further questions, you can contact our department by email or phone. Thank you.